customers went other places to get information. So maybe in your business you advertise in the newspaper, and you find that there aren't that many people who come in with a newspaper ad. Or maybe you do a TV ad. Or maybe what you do is a radio ad. And all of a sudden, people aren't coming in like they used to. Or maybe you did a direct mail. And all of a sudden, there aren't very many responses. And so you say, it's the economy. And so you sit around and you wait. I'm just here to tell you, it's not about the economy. It's really about what the customer is going through. And that all goes back to your customer service. Because if you're not doing Facebook, and you don't have a fan page, and you're not trying out some of these things, you're going to find that your customers will be less and less because of the next trend. So now we've gone through the baby boomer, right? And we know what they're doing and what they're not doing and why. Now the customer that's coming up behind them is a younger customer, Generation X. Do they have money? No, they don't have as much money as the boomers had. Not only don't they have as much money, they're raising families. So you can remember when you were younger, you were raising your family, and so you didn't buy a new kitchen or you didn't buy a new car as often as you might be able to do now. So now we have the next group coming up who is replacing the boomer with not as much money, with different priorities, and maybe can't even get a job. There aren't that many jobs out there. So if you look at all of that together, you can understand what you have to do in terms of customer service. Number one is you have to pay attention to the customers that you have, and you've got to find ways to connect with them, right? The other thing you have to do is remember that these new customers that are out there, they're getting information differently. So the fact that you're not getting any return maybe on your direct mail really has more to do with the customer that's out there than it really has to do with the economy. And if you're waiting for the economy to become better, and you're waiting for it to go back to where it was, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. And can't happen because of all the things that I just said to you. All the changes that we've been going through. It's like a metamorphosis. I mean, I'm on Facebook. Do I read the newspaper? The only time I read the newspaper is when I'm on the road traveling, and it's always in front of my door, right? That's USA Today or Tomorrow, that one. So I get that and I read it. And it's only reason I do it is to sort of take up time between, having breakfast or whatever and then doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing. Otherwise, I'll get a Google feed, I'll find something that I like, and they'll send me the information that way. So, and it's really not about age. It's just really about convenience. It's really about another way to make connections. We're busy. Most of us are really busy. People have 2 and 3 jobs. It's very interesting to look in the speaker industry or consulting industry. There just aren't a lot of customers. So people are taking lots more work for less money or smaller jobs. Everybody I know is really, really busy. So if you're really, really busy, how much time do you have to sit and watch the news? Now, I read something interesting about the news. There is no more 11 o'clock news. Remember 11 o'clock or 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock meant everybody sat down and had dinner. That's the way it was in my house. And so maybe you turned on the TV or maybe even looked at the newspaper, but there was that nobody's home having dinner at 6 o'clock. All the kids, they're all out, right? Every little kid, they have schedules like I never had. They go to ballet and they have soccer and they go to their music lessons. I'm thinking, my life was just really, really boring. We never did any of that stuff. It just wasn't there for me. So it really doesn't, the way the world was sort of doesn't exist. Families don't get together as much the way they did because everybody has something else to do. So that means that nobody watches the 11 o'clock news, right? Nobody watches the 6 o'clock news while they're having dinner. So the TV isn't on. So maybe I just, check to see what my feeds are, and maybe I check maybe I check on my phone or someplace, and I get the information that I want, and I only get the information that I want. I'm not interested in going through all the things that I don't care about anymore. I just want to know what I want to know. I want to know what Madonna's doing. That's all I want to know. I really, it's so funny. In the 70s, I could have cared less. I really never liked her. I only liked her in the last, I don't know, 10 years. She started writing kids' books, and I just started reading about her and decided I really liked her. So I decided to get a feed on her. So I know what Madonna does all the time. I don't know what I'll do with the information, but, you know, it's like, so what do you care about, you know? So maybe that's one of the things that amuses me during the day. But it's my amusement. Maybe yours is sports. Maybe it's history. And maybe you want to know about inks and colors, and maybe you want to know the trends that are going on in terms of colors. People are different. So as a business, the question is, what do you do? There are lots of things that you can do that you may have done before, but you don't do anymore. And when I wrote the book, I started looking at the things that people used to do. Like write a letter to somebody and thank them. So funny, if you listened to Paul Vandenberg when I was on his show last week, remember he said the only note he ever got was from Nancy Grace. Do you remember that? She sent a note and said, thank you so much for being on my show. Well, I sent him a video email, and it wound up in his trash bucket. As I said to Kate, the account rep, I said, did he get my video? She said, Liz, I had to go find it. It was in the trash. But I thought that was so funny because I said, well, of course I have to write him a note. You know, I have to send him something. But so we would usually do, maybe we'd send a note. Not anymore. We would do a video. And we would send a video email. Because according to the statistics, you have a 40% better chance of it being read than if it's an email. Just an email. So, what will you do? Go back and take a look at the customers that you have, which was one of the things that you said. Take a look at who they are and have somebody do a survey of those customers. Let's find out what they think about you. We talk about our customer service points, like what we think we do better than anybody else. It's also called our differentiation or our competitive advantage. You know, what makes us different and what makes people come to your place or your place and not his place over there. The only way you'll know those things is if you get somebody from the outside to go do your survey. Take a look at what you consider to be those distinguishing points and have somebody go out and ask your customers what they think about you. Find out where they shop for lots of things, like where would you go to buy a car and why would you go there to buy a car? What is it about that car dealer that you really like? Or what other centers do you visit? What other museums do you go to? What is it about those museums that you really like? And you will get all kinds of ideas for your own business. If you can also distinguish between the customers that you own, the ones that love you, and the customers that absolutely hate you. You know, the customers you did business with and you don't know where they went, or there was a reason why they went, you know that reason. It would be grand to have somebody call them and ask the same question. We know that you used to do business with X, Y, and Z, and you're no longer doing that. We're wondering if you might give us some ideas as to why you went somewhere else. What is it that they could do to improve what they do? Now, this would be a wonderful thing for you to do. You know, to take a look at what's being done in your field. You know, what are other people doing? Who do you consider to be the epitome of what you do? What are the other cultural centers? What are the things that are going on? Or what are they doing in areas that are wonderful? Like, what are they doing in Europe? What are they doing in New York? You know, what's going on in Boston? And if you could do a survey of your customers and ask them, have they been to those places? You would get some wonderful things that you could do in your business that would help you. And I call that customer service. People often call a lot of that sales. I don't think sales exists anymore the way we thought about sales. You know, sales was, I brought you something, you liked it, we exchanged money, you went home and it was over. It's not that anymore. You don't even care whether I show you anything. You go buy it online, you go find out everything you need. You may not even ever come and see me. So it's really different out there these days. So if you can go out and first of all go do a survey of your customers, that would be one of the best things you could do.